Jamie Lee Curtis says Happy Halloween. Dune's female characters are getting a power-up, and Robert Eggers drops his must-see horror movie list. All of that and more on the Cinemateq Weekly News Wrap-Up. My name is TJ, and before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to Cinemateq and to stab the notification bell so you know every time we release a video. These weekly news wrap-ups come out every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we wouldn't want you to miss one. Now that the self-promotion is out of the way, let's talk about Jamie Lee Curtis giving everyone a Halloween treat in the form of a behind-the-scenes look at the brand new Halloween Kills. The behind-the-scenes video gives us very little about the story of Halloween Kills, but it does show us a bloody Jamie Lee Curtis,
Happy Halloween,
and Anthony Michael Hall holding a baseball bat, and, of course, the return of William Shatner. All in all, this was a nice treat for fans, although we learn almost nothing about the forthcoming film, except for the fact that I really want to see Anthony Michael Hall try to beat up Michael Myers with a baseball bat. I can only imagine that going very poorly for him. But please, let us know what you think in the comments below. Have you seen the trailer, and what did you think of it? Moving on, is Oscar Isaac taking a gamble with his next film role? Well, since he's going to be playing a gambler in the Paul Schrader film The Card Counter, I'm gonna say yes and no, but no in the sense that it's going to be a great role for him because Paul Schrader only does good things, for the most part. Isaac will play the role of William Tell, which is the absolute worst name for a gambler to have, as he tries to first reform. Did you get that joke? Are you washed? A young man who is bent on revenge on a mutual enemy. There is no word yet on when we can expect the film to be released, but since it is still in pre-production, I would guess fall 2020 at the absolute earliest. You can absolutely bet that this is going to be some kind of an awards contender, and depending on the schedule and when they can actually get production rolling, I could see this being an awards contender come 2021. And please, let us know what you think about this announcement in the comments below. Does Oscar Isaac working with Paul Schrader excite you to no end? The answer for me is an emphatic yes. Moving on, Robert Eggers, director of The Lighthouse and The Witch, was recently asked during a Reddit AMA to name his favorite horror film. He did way better than that and listed 26 of his favorite horror films, and the list is actually pretty great to read through. It includes all-time greats like The Shining, Psycho, and Alien, while also highlighting rarely seen films like Angst and Possession. And guess what? There's also 4 silent films on the list. It's like Robert Eggers is trying to be my best friend, and I want him to succeed. Throw in some Lynch and some Bergman, and a few films that I haven't actually seen, and I think you've got the makings for a pretty great list of horror films. Except for, of course, the Polanski films, which I guess you could watch if you're okay with supporting a rapist. If you want to see the full list, check out the link in the description below, and please, let me know what you think of it. Are there any films on there that surprised you? Are there any omissions that shocked you? For me, it's Halloween. Considering when this question was asked, he could have just added it on as a number 27 film, like, come on, man. I thought you were trying to be my friend. Moving on, the final curtain on HBO Max has been raised, and we now know exactly how much money it's going to be taking out of our pockets when it finally launches in May 2020. That number? $14.99 USD, which by about that time will be worth about $30,000 to $40,000 Canadian. The service will include programming from, of course, HBO, as well as the Cartoon Network, TNT, and, most importantly for our viewers, Warner Brothers. Now, what I am most excited about is the possibility that they are going to have a ton of films in there from the Warner Archive. This is a specific section of the Warner distribution arm where they take old Warner films and restore them to their prime and glory. So save for the Criterion Channel, HBO Max has a genuine shot at being one of the best places to find Golden Age Hollywood films. And really for films that just came out before 1980. And I think we need to appreciate how important this is, considering the lack of those types of films that make it to other streaming services like Netflix. The downside, of course, is that it is super expensive. I think it's actually the most expensive streaming service outside of ESPN at this point. And it's going to be hard for people to hand over that kind of money. When you think about it, if you combine HBO Max with Netflix, in Canada at least, you're getting close to $40 for those two services per month. That's a lot. But we'd love to know what you have to think on this. Is HBO Max too much money, or do the offerings justify the price? Let us know in the comments below. Moving on, Rebecca Ferguson has come forward with heaps of praise for Denis Villeneuve and his progressive characterization of female characters in the forthcoming Dune duology. I really like that word, duology. Ferguson, who plays Jessica, the Bene Gesserit mother of Paul Atreides, who is being played by Timothée Chalamet, told ComingSoon.net that Denis Villeneuve was very much aligned with creating empowerment and powerful moments for her character. Ferguson noted that back in 1965, when Dune was originally published, that men and women didn't exactly have equal rights, and if we're being honest, they still don't. And this is why I love to hear this kind of news, that a director like Villeneuve is using a film like Dune and updating it, bringing it in line with how we want society to be as opposed to how society was. And sci-fi is by nature a progressive genre, so it makes so much sense for Villeneuve to take a character like Jessica and bring her into the 21st century and give her these moments that turn her into a more primary, independent character instead of just a supporting character, which is what she turns into in the second act of Dune. So I personally love this news, but I would love to hear what you have to say about it in the comments below. And with that, cinephiles, we are at the end of your weekly news wrap-up. Coming to theaters this weekend, we have Harriet by Cassie Lemons, Arctic Dogs by Aaron Woodley, Motherless Brooklyn by Edward Norton, and Terminator Dark Fate by Tim Miller. Are you going to be hitting the theaters this weekend? And if so, let us know what film you're going to be seeing in the comments below. I'm probably going to be seeing Terminator Dark Fate. The reviews on it seem good. People say that it's a return to form for the franchise. We'll have to see for ourselves. And also, Harriet looks pretty cool. I just looked it up and realized that the director did some pretty good work back in the 90s, so it'd be interesting to see what she's doing now. And we still don't know how to end an episode, so we're just gonna say goodbye, have a good weekend, and we hope you enjoyed Halloween.